One thing to note when you are solving a one-step equation or any kind of equation is that anything you do to the left-hand side of the equation is the same thing exactly that you should do to the right-hand side of the equation. That is one thing you should bear in mind. Another thing you should bear in mind is that each time you are solving an equation, your focus is to look for the unknown variable, that is the unknown letter. For example, in number 1, the unknown letter is y. We don't know what value y stands for, but you must look for that value. That's what you are looking for. So for that purpose, it must be allowed to stay on its own. You can keep it on the left hand side or on the right hand side, doesn't matter. But the thing is that it must stay alone. But for it to stay alone, you must apply mathematical rules to make it stay alone. Watch me as I solve these examples to prove to you. The first case we have is 2 plus y is equal to 7. I know that you know the value of y already, because the only way to get 7 is when you add 5 to 2. So y is 5. We know that. Meanwhile, algebraically, I want to show you how this is done so that when you come into complex situations that you cannot guess, you will be able to apply the same rules to get the answer. Now, this is what you do. Remember, I told you that you must allow it to stay by itself. So because it's already on the left-hand side, I want to allow it to remain on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, the 2 is also on the left-hand side, so I have to remove it. This 2 is a positive 2, which means it is a positive number. The only way to remove it is to make it a negative number. Only negative can cancel out positive. Therefore, to do that, I am going to subtract the number 2 from the left-hand side. But remember, I said whatever happens to one side must happen to the other side. Therefore, if I minus 2 from the left-hand side, I must minus the same 2 from the right-hand side. Watch me. So I am going to minus 2, and I'm also going to minus 2 on this side. So 2 minus 2 is 0. The only thing I have on the left-hand side now is y. I'll write it down here. Y. And then the equal to. 7 minus 2 is how much? 5. That's it. We have found the value of y. So y is 5, just like you guessed before. See, 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Correct. We're done with that. Look at the second case. I told you that each time you see a letter attached to another letter or a letter attached to a number, that shows multiplication. So this 2y you see here is the same thing as 2 times y. But we need to allow y to stay alone because that is the value we are looking for. Therefore, I know you know the answer already. Maybe you have guessed. 2 times what is 18? The answer is going to be 9. But let us prove it algebraically how it is 9. So what do you do? Since this is 2 times 9, the only way to undo times is to use divide, because divide is the opposite of times. Therefore, I am going to divide the left-hand side and the right-hand side by these 2. So I'll do that. Divide this side by 2 and divide this side by 2. So if I divide this by 2, 2 divides 2 and you have 1. 1 times y is 1y. So y is 1y is equal to 18 divided by 2 is 9. That's all. So the value of y is 9. We've solved that. Look at the third case. By now you already know what to do. This is minus 3. The only way to undo the minus sign is to use plus. So I'm going to plus 3 on the left and plus 3 also on the right. So minus 3 plus 3 is 0. I'm left just with x. X stays alone. It's equal to 11 plus 3 is 14. So it means that the value of x in question number 3 is 14. Number 4, x divided by 5 is equal to negative 2. The only way to undo divide is to multiply it. So I am going to multiply this side by 5, and I'm also going to do the same thing here, multiply by 5. This side is a fraction, so know that 5 is the same thing as 5 upon 1. Okay? 5 is a numerator, and this 5 is a denominator. The 5 numerator cancels out with the 5 denominator. So I have just x upon 1. And anything divided by 1 remains the same. Therefore, x divided by 1 remains x equal to negative 2 times 5 will give you negative 10. So it means that in this example number 4, the value of x is negative 10. Number 5, 8 minus 5y is equal to 1. This goes into two-step method a little, but that's fine, no problem. Let's see what we can do in this case. First, I can see a negative sign here, but this one is positive. No problem. Let's work it out like that. I'm going to remove this 8 from this left-hand side. To remove this 8, this is positive 8, so I have to minus 8 from the left-hand side, and I will do exactly the same thing on the right-hand side, minus 8 as well. So 8 minus 8 is 0. I am left with negative 5y. I will just write it down here. Negative 5y is equal to this side. 1 minus 8 means minus 7. That is not the final answer because this one goes into two-step method, which is the next video that I'm going to show you. Meanwhile, let's just do it. On this side, we still have negative 5 times y. Because it is times, I'm going to divide. So divide this side by that negative 5 to allow y alone to stay. And do the same thing on this side. Divide by negative 5. So if you do that, negative 5 cancels out negative 5. You are left with only y on that side. So y is equal to, watch here, negative can actually cancel out negative. So you are left with 7 upon 5. This is the value of y for question number 5. It is solved as well. It's as easy as that. Let's solve a little kind of word problem to complete this exercise. This is number 6. So number 6 says we have a triangle that has 4x, 10x, and 6x as its sides, the length of each side. The perimeter is 50 centimeters. So what is the value of x? Let's solve it out. Perimeter simply means the total sum of the length of the sides. So we're going to add all of them. 4x, add 6x, add 10x. The answer should give us 50 because that is the perimeter. 4 plus 6, 10. 10 plus 10, 20. So this is 20x is equal to 50. Now to get, this is 20 times x. To get x alone, we are going to divide by 20. Divide this side by 20. Divide this side by 20. So 20 goes away. It means that the value of x, therefore, the value of x is equal to 50 upon 20. I can remove this 0. So that my answer is 5 upon 2. If you break it down to decimal, it is the same thing as 2.5. That is what x is, centimeters. Therefore, for this one, 10 times 2.5 is 25. This side is 25 centimeters. Yes. For this side, 2.5 times 4. This is 10. So this side is 10 centimeters. And this side is going to be 15 centimeters. The remaining one, 15 centimeters. If you add all of them together, you should get 50. 10 add 15 is 25. 25 add 25 is 50. So we are correct. We have ended up solving all these problems that came from one-step equations.